Um, shit, we talked about this on IG. Might as well bring it to YouTube because I don't know how many of y'all came to the IG yesterday, but he mentioned the trade, man. He mentioned some trade rumors. You already heard the trade rumors. You heard that the Pacers are imploding, and because the Pacers are imploding, there are a couple of names that are on the trade block. Sabonis being one of them, Levert being one of them, Myles Turner also being one of them. All three of those guys killed us in one way or the other today. The one that seems the most likely to happen, if there was something to happen, seems like all hypotheticals, it would be Myles Turner, if anything, because of the rumors that were going on last season. No, I mean last off season anyway. So, Ariel, I want to get your thoughts on this because we talked about if we trade for Turner, it seems like Mitch would be one of the odd men out. Now Mitch alone wouldn't match the contracts. It probably have to be Mitch in pieces, and Turner makes what, $17.5 million. So somebody else would have to be involved besides Mitch in the second round of that, because people was like Mitch in the second round there. Like, no, he cost 17.5 million. So it's going to be more than Mitch in the second round.
Pacers don't even say yes to that either way. So.
Exactly. So do you feel like Myles Turner? Go ahead.
Yeah. So just my thoughts real quick is just that Myles Turner, if they traded for Myles Turner, depending on the package, as long as they don't overpay, he does make the Knicks better in the immediate, and he is a good center. He's only 25. I don't know if most people realize that. He's young. That's the kind of guy you can have around for a while.
Right.
The question is just, what does he cost to get, and
exactly
is the cost worth a marginal? Like, he's not a ceiling raiser. I think he's a floor raiser. So, like, if they traded for Myles Turner this season, are the Knicks going to be better? Yes. How much is the question? And then is the cost worth being that much better? Is winning an extra playoff game, or maybe a higher seed? Is it worth giving up extra assets? In my opinion, I think you kind of have to hope that these guys figure it out, just because I think the Knicks are in prime position to eventually trade for a disgruntled star, whoever it is. I think they have a ton of young assets, and then they've been kind of structuring their contracts around the idea that they are going to either sign someone or trade for someone. It's the reason why they're adding all these team options, and they're signing these guys to these team-friendly deals. Noel isn't on a bad contract. It's only $10 million. And after this year, it's essentially a one-year deal just because of the team option. Fournier is the only deal that's 1 year longer. This is looking a little shakier now than we thought initially. So it just kind of depends on what is the cost. And a lot of people are like throwing around, like you mentioned, this Mitchell Robinson second-round pick, Kevin Knox. That's not getting it done.
No.
You also have to put yourself in the mindset of the Pacers. And why would you do that deal? I don't know. I think if the Pacers are gonna say yes to a deal with the Knicks, it's gonna have to include RJ, Obi, IQ, and you're not doing either of those three if you're the Knicks, most likely. And I don't think the Pacers are gonna be necessarily high on a Quentin Grimes or Deuce McBride, for example. So I kind of see the deal. It's kind of hard to match that deal up, even though it sounds good on paper.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like you said, he's the better player, right? My thought process was, I would think about it and it would be on my radar. But then when you look at, but it's also when you look at what we have, and look at how much he costs, right? The cost $17.5 million. We're kind of strapped for cash right now, right? He has him for 17.5. You have him for this year and next season, and then after next season, he's an expiring contract, and he's 25 years old. So after that, what you're thinking is, what's the market? What's the market after he expires? Are you going to be able to re-sign him for a reasonable contract? He's 26. I don't know if you hear me talk about this. When a 26-year-old, what do people do when they're 26-year-old in the NBA? They go for the bag.
Yeah.
They go for the bag. This is 26 years old. Usually is around when you're around 26, 27, 28, that's when you get your biggest bag of your career. Usually. So
that's your prime, yeah.
Yes, your prime. So that's when you cash in. So now you think we trade our assets, we traded a first round pick for him. Are you going to be able to then possibly pay him more than 17.5 for the following years that we have him? And that's when it starts to get shaky. Even though, I would really love a stretch center next to Julius Randle. it seems like a good idea, but I'm not sure if we can pull it off, especially considering the pieces we have. When it feels like we're better off using the gluts at guard to make another move for like a more established start rather than a really good piece next to Randall.
Yeah, I don't see the Knicks making. I'm not trying to undersell the impact Myles Turner will have, but I don't see the Knicks making a kind of marginal move. I think if they do make a move, it'll be a bigger one, and I don't think it comes this season. I think they've been collecting their assets, and just the way we've seen it, like even the trade for Derrick Rose last year, they basically gave up nothing of value to them. Dennis Smith Jr. was well on his way out, and the second round pick, they have a ton of it, and it's a second rounder. Doesn't really have too much value. I just think they're not going to give up something of value unless it's for someone that they know is a real game changer.
Right.
And I just think they've been accumulating these assets for a reason, and I think they're eventually going to swing big for someone. And I don't think Myles Turner is that guy, but I do think he makes the team better. And if they made the deal, depending on the cost, obviously, I'd be for it. But again, depends on the cost at the end of the day.
Yeah. Like, who would you? I don't even know. Every time I think about who to give up, I think about the impact. Right? Because right now we're struggling with guards who can make plays. We're struggling with guards who can make plays, and come on, right? Say we give up Obi, right, for Myles Turner, hypothetically. The impact that Obi can have on a team, I feel like his ceiling is bigger than Myles Turner, to me. Like, I feel like
I think Myles has more of an impact just because of his defensive. I think Myles Turner is one of the best rim protectors in the league, and I think the Knicks don't have that right now with this version of Mitch and the wall they have. Okay. Maybe in a few years. But
that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in a few years, not now.
Okay.
I'm talking about in a few years. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you go.
Yeah, I'm talking about in a few years. I can see Myles Turner being better for us right now, but then I can see Obi being better than him in a few years. Which is why if I was to trade Obi, I would feel better trading, including Obi in the package with a more established star. If I were to even trade Obi, because I feel like that's gonna bite us in the butt anyway.
Yeah.
So that's my thinking, and even with a guy like IQ, like losing him to help the first unit, I feel like there's another glut again with our second unit, and another glut again with a guy who can stretch the floor and hit a three, and possibly be a guy who can be a better contributor down the line. So I feel like the contributions of the guy we would trade can end up having a bigger role for us in the long run, just because they're guards. And you know what I'm saying? It's really weird getting a guard to center trade off and the impact of the team. Like it's interesting to kind of quantify that.
I'd be very reluctant to trade IQ. In general, I think he has a very high ceiling. Whether he ever gets there is the question, but I'm pretty high on IQ. I think his ability to create shots, his shooting ability, and he's shown very drastic improvement as a playmaker and even getting to the rim a little bit more this year. So I'm pretty high on IQ. I definitely wouldn't include him in a deal for Turner. That's a pass for me.
Right.
I don't know. I just think trading an IQ for a Turner is kind of not short-sighted because I don't think Myles is going to age poorly or anything. But I just think not the kind of deal you want to include someone with IQ's potential in.
Right.
Obi, I think it is important to mention that Myles is only 2 years older than Obi. It's not this drastic thing. Myles Turner is having arguably one of the better years of his career, especially offensively.
Yeah.
Career highs in three-point percentage so far. Career highs in three-point attempts. So he's taking more. He's making more. So yeah, I mean, Myles Turner does make the Knicks better. It's just, again, how much does it cost? Who does it cost? Is it worth the cost?
Exactly. Myles Turner, 39% from three this season from Myles Turner is something we would desperately need, something that would work very well next to Julius Randle. I was hoping we would trade Kevin Knox for Mo Bamba last season when their stock was low, but that boat is passed. Whatever. It's too late for that now. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. People love to throw in, just a quick thing, people love to throw in Kevin Knox and they're like fake trades. And I'm like, man, Knox doesn't have any value. Unless matching salaries.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's his only purpose in these fake trades. Yeah, Knox. Love Knox. I have no ill will against him, but he doesn't have any value right now.
Exactly. That's why I was like when Mo Bamba was whack last year, I was like, yo, Knox in a second for Mo Bamba. I think there's something there. Now, if we do that, that's a laugh. They laughing at us if we even offer that right now. We missed our boat, but whatever. Hang up the phone immediately and then curse us out. For real.
Block your number.
Exactly. New name. Who this? Like, I don't know. One of those type of deals. But yeah, man. Salute to the chat, man.